Hello everyone, welcome to Go VM Lab VMware Cloud on AWS Deep Dive Training Program. In this particular lecture, we are going to learn about how to deploy our first VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC in AWS Oregon region. So with that, let's get started. Now, before we go and discuss about how do we go and deploy our first SDDC, let me walk you through a very high level architecture of VMware Cloud on AWS. If you look at this particular diagram, we have a first AWS construct is called region. So as you know that the region is something like we have to make sure that whenever we are deploying our VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC, we first have to make sure that we are selecting the right region. Not every AWS supported region will have a support for VMware Cloud on AWS service. So that's the reason. Please make sure that whenever we are deploying our first VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC, we'll have to select the right region. The next thing, if you do see that we have a two AWS account. The very first account is VMware Cloud on AWS account. And the second, do you see that it's a customer AWS account. So what's the difference between these two accounts? Now, to deploy VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC, a customer need to have a AWS account. That's a very first requirement before go ahead and deploying this particular service. Now, on the right side, if you see that this is the customer AWS account, which is completely operated and managed by customer. You do see that there is a VPC, there is a private subnet, all these AWS constructs like VPC, private subnet, everything is being operated and managed by customer who is the owner of that AWS account, and all the workloads, whatever customer is creating within that particular VPC is also being managed and operated by customer. Now, if you do see that we also have a VMware Cloud on AWS account, and if you notice that it is a managed service, which means that VMware Cloud on AWS account will be created on behalf of customer, but it will be operated and managed by VMware as a part of VMware Cloud on AWS service. So just to recap again, the important point to note here that this particular account, whatever we see that this is the customer operated, managed and owned account, whereas VMware Cloud on AWS account would be managed and operated by VMware as a part of this particular service, which means that if you do see that we have the next construct, what do we have? It is VPC. So if you are very well aware about AWS networking concepts, whenever we are deploying any EC2 workloads or any AWS service, first we need to define a VPC. VPC is a AWS networking construct called virtual private cloud, and it gives us a isolated virtual networking environment within our AWS cloud infrastructure. So that's what VPC is all about. And within that VPC, we also have a concept of availability zones. So whenever we are defining our SDDC or whenever we are deploying our SDDC, we need to define that in which particular availability zone I would like to deploy particular SDDC, same as we go and deploy our EC2 instances and map it to the specific availability zone provided by AWS. So that's what exactly it's all about it. So if you see that this is our software defined data center, you do see that this is our VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC. Now this particular SDDC, whenever we go ahead and deploy it, there are two important requirements for us. The first important requirement is that we need to have a VPC created before we go ahead and deploy our SDDC. And then the second is we need to define the subnet within that VPC, which particular subnet I am going to use for deploying this VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC. So in the previous lab, if you are following this particular lecture series, in the previous lab, we have discussed about how do we go and do the VPC creation and how do we go and create this private subnets in the AWS console for preparing this environment for our VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC deployment. The last thing, if you might have noticed that there is something called VPC connectivity through ENI. Now, so ENI is actually the Elastic Network Interface. It gives us a very high bandwidth, low latency network connectivity between these two SDDC. So we have a VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC on our left side, and on the right side, we might be having a native AWS workload such as EC2 instances running in the customer managed VPC. What if there is a VM running inside this SDDC would like to go and talk to this EC2 instance? Now, if we don't have this kind of channel, what do we see here? The traffic will go all over through the internet, and that's where it will be a very slow network because the traffic will be traversing over the internet. So with the help of this VPC connectivity, we actually go and interconnect VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC and our EC2 instance with the high bandwidth, low latency network. And this network is actually traverse, and the data packet between these two SDDC traverse within AWS infrastructure. They don't go and traverse over the internet. So that's what one of the very useful uh, implementation. You might have seen that VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC is not only about providing connectivity to your virtual machines, but it also gives us capability to have our VMs to have a direct access to our AWS native AWS services such as EC2 or maybe S3 and other services as well. So VPC connectivity is another very important aspect of this particular VMware Cloud on AWS managed service, which gives us a high bandwidth, low latency network connectivity. So now that's what pretty much about a very high level overview of VMware Cloud on AWS architecture. Now let me walk you through how do we go and deploy our first VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC with this particular service. As you could see that we are logged into AWS console, and I just wanted to clarify that before we go ahead and understand how do we go and deploy our first VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC, we are leveraging VMware Hands-on Lab learning platform for this particular lab exercise. So as you could see that if you are following our previous lecture series, you might have noticed that in the previous lecture, we learned about how do we go and create a VPC, how do we go and create a subnets, route table updation, IGW connectivity to our VPC. Those are the prerequisites before we go ahead and deploy our first VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC. So now let's go, since we all have AWS networking in place. So now let's go ahead and deploy our first SDDC. Click on new browser tab, and that's the link console.cloud.vmware.com or cloud.vmware.com is the portal. So once you click on that particular portal, you do see that it gives us a welcome to VMware Cloud Services. So this is the welcome portal for the entire VMware Cloud Services portfolio, and VMC on AWS is one of the service of that entire cloud services portfolio. So let's go and give a user credentials. So we have to provide VMware provided user credentials. So that's a john.taylor@vmware@gmail.com. So that's the username what VMware has provided us as a part of this hands-on lab. Click on next, give a password. As you could see that we are successfully logged in to our VMware Cloud on AWS portal. Now, if you look at that, this is the service. If you look at that, this is the service which we enabled access for VMware Cloud or AWS. Now on the below, you do see that there are multiple services are available such as Cost Insight, Log Intelligence, Skyline Advisor, VMware Tanzu, and there's a bunch of services are available. So as we discussed, it's a complete portfolio of VMware Cloud services. And as of now, for this particular John Taylor user, VMware has only enabled VMware Cloud on AWS service. That's the reason we only see VMware Cloud on AWS service available for that particular user. The rest of the services still requires access. Now, so click on VMware Cloud on AWS. As you could see that we are logged in to our SDDC portal. So that's the portal we would be using it whenever we go ahead and deploy our first SDDC. To create the SDDC, you have to go and click on create SDDC. When we click on create SDDC, you do see that there are a bunch of options available and we need to provide those configuration details as a part of VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC deployment. Now let's understand what are these bunch of properties or options which are being asked for this particular deployment. So the first category of the options or configuration deployment parameters, you do see that those belongs to SDDC properties, which means that this set of information would be relevant to about SDDC details such as name of the SDDC, choosing the size of the SDDC, and defining the AWS region, like in which region we would like to go and deploy this particular service. So that's what this section is all about it. So let's go and understand every single option much more in detail. Now, if we look at that in the cloud section, we have a zero cloud or also updated or called as a gov cloud. And then we have a AWS. So what exactly is zero cloud or also known as gov cloud? Now this gov cloud is a secure platform for government agencies to access the benefits of public and private clouds to further increase agility and security. It has a very strict security and compliance requirements in that specific gov cloud. So in general, if we are not belonging to any government authorities or government compliance, then basically we have to go and choose option as AWS. So we'll have to choose AWS as a cloud type. We're gonna use it. The next option, it talks about AWS region. Like as we discussed, we need to make sure that we select the right region for deploying this particular service. So we have a bunch of options available here. If you look at this drag and drop, you do see that we have a support for North Virginia, Oregon, London, Frankfurt, Sydney, Asia. We have a Mumbai, Singapore, and all these regions. And these regions will be keep updating every release by release. So please refer the AWS or VMware Cloud on AWS latest release doc to get a more detailed understanding about the supported regions. For this particular lab, we are actually gonna make use of Oregon region. So we are going to deploy our SDDC in AWS Oregon region. So let's select the Oregon region. Now the next parameter, what it asks for is deployment. And what does that mean? If you do see that we have a bunch of options available here, such as single host, then we have a multi-host, and in the multi-host or multi-host, we have a stretch cluster. What does that mean? This particular deployment type, it is asking us what kind of SDDC we would like to get it deployed. Is it a single host SDDC or we want to deploy multi-host SDDC? Now, in a multi-host SDDC, we also have an additional option of stretch cluster, which means that we can stretch our cluster or our SDDC across the multiple availability zones for a higher resiliency and availability. But stretch cluster option will only enable when we select our deployment type as multi-host, because the bare minimum requirement of deploying a stretch cluster is 6 number of hosts. Every region, every availability zone will have a 3 host in it. So that's a deployment type. So let's go and select our deployment type as multi-host. Now, before we move ahead, just one more thing to remember, that the single host deployment is only useful whenever we are trying to do any kind of POC or maybe some kind of prototyping we are trying to do with this particular service. In those scenarios, it makes sense to use a single host deployment to reduce the cost. But once we are done with our POC requirement, then it is recommended to either upgrade that single host SDDC to multi-host SDDC to leverage all these service capabilities. And one of the most important thing to remember, that if we do not upgrade our single host SDDC to multi-host SDDC within 30 days, this particular SDDC will be deleted by VMware and we will be having a data loss and no data would be preserved. So please make sure that within 30 days, please go and upgrade your single host SDDC to the multi-host SDDC to protect all the SDDC data. Now you might have noticed that as soon as we enable multi-host, this particular option gets enabled and I have already explained the reason for that. And our cluster is going to stretch across two availability zones of our AWS region. The next thing is we need to give a SDDC name. So let's give a name what VMware has provided us in this particular lab is VS Lab SDDC. Now, the next thing what we were discussing, what is my deployment type? If our deployment type is single host, then obviously we would be selecting one number of hosts. But if our deployment type is more than one host or a multi-host kind of environment, then with this drag and drop, we can select that how many hosts I would like to get deployed as a part of this particular SDDC deployment. Now, before that, we select the number of hosts. I also wanted to clarify or put your attention on host capacity. So look at this host capacity. Every single host which is going to be part of our SDDC deployment or which is going to be part of our ESX cluster, every host will have a two sockets. So that's the CPU capacity, compute capacity, two sockets and 36 cores, 512 GB RAM and 10.7 TB of storage. Every single host would be having it. So that's the CPU, memory and storage capacity of every single host which would be part of our multi-host deployment. And from the networking perspective, AWS gives 25 gigabit of network adapter or ENA, elastic network adapter of 25 gig capacity. Now, since we are going to deploy multi-host SDDC, so let's go and select three. So that's I'm gonna create 3 node cluster. And as soon as you might have noticed that as soon as we select the 3 host, look at the total capacity. It actually gives us a sum of the entire compute, storage and memory resources. So once we add 3 hosts, the total compute capacity becomes 6 sockets, 108 cores, 1.5 TB RAM and 32.1 TB storage. So that's the overall capacity of our entire SDDC which we are going to deploy on as a part of this service. So click on next. Now, so we have provided all the required information which are related to SDDC properties. Now, the next set of information this service is asked for connect to AWS. Now, this is one of the very important requirement, and if you remember in the lecture itself, early slides, we have discussed that the very first requirement of this particular service deployment is we need to have a AWS account, and the reason for that is basically we need to connect our AWS account with this particular SDDC, and that is the exact step where basically we go. So VMware has a cloud formation template which actually go and connect to our AWS native customer owned operated AWS account, and then as a part of this cloud formation template, it actually go and create some necessary IAM role which really requires for bringing up the entire SDDC infrastructure. So please make sure that we have to link our native AWS account with the VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC or VMC on AWS service for bringing up the entire SDDC infrastructure, and that's what these steps are all about. So if you look at that, it actually tells very clearly that VMware has defined a cloud formation template which is going to connect to your AWS account, and this template will go and create the IAM roles which are really necessary to allow communication between your SDDC and AWS account, and it also set up networking correctly for our SDDC. So that's a very important step. We have to do it. So to proceed with that particular step, just click on open AWS console with cloud formation template, and as you do see that as soon as we click on that particular link, it diverted us to AWS console. And within that AWS console, what service are we accessing? We are accessing cloud formation service, and we are trying to create a new stack, and that's our SDDC stack what we are going to deploy with the help of this template. That's the template description, you do see that, and that's the name of the stack, VMware SDDC formation. And these are the couple of IAM roles which will be created as a part of this particular SDDC deployment or infrastructure bring up. So now click here to scroll down, and we will have to acknowledge that this particular service will going to create some IAM resources as a part of SDDC bring up or deployment. So click on that particular acknowledgement link, click here to scroll down, click here to create. And now, as you could see that the status, it says that the creation is completed, which means that we are good from the SDDC formation perspective. So click here to close it. And now click here to scroll down. So as you could see that, you might have noticed that it actually doing this linking. So this particular step, we are linking our AWS account with the VMware Cloud on AWS service. So click here to scroll down, click on next, and as soon as we have a successful SDDC stack completion, we do see that our account is successfully linked. Our AWS account is successfully linked with VMware Cloud on AWS Managed Service. And it clearly tells us that your connection has successfully established. So this is one of the very important steps to do it. So click on next to proceed. Now, so as of now, we have provided all right set of SDDC properties, information about SDDC properties, where we want to deploy 3-host SDDC, 3-host cluster on the Oregon region. Then we also connected our SDDC to the native AWS account for all the required set of bring up and infrastructure deployment. The next important thing about this workflow is VPC and subnet. As you remember that whenever we are deploying our SDDC within AWS infrastructure, we need to provide two important information. The first is what is the VPC in which we would like to go and deploy our SDDC, and within that VPC, what is that subnet we would like to go and attach it to our or would like to go and deploy our SDDC within that subnet. So these two informations are really important from AWS perspective. So let's go and define. Anyway, we have already created VPC and subnet. So we just need to map those VPC what we did in the previous lecture with this SDDC workflow. So click here, choose a VPC, and you see that we need to select the VPC, the VPC one which we created. So if you remember, in the previous lecture, we created a VPC with the CIDR 172.20.0/16. That's the same CIDR, we're gonna select it. And as soon as we select the VPC, it asks us, what is that subnet? What is that subnet you would like to go and deploy your SDDC into? Now, one of the very important thing to remember here that if we want to leverage native AWS services, if you look at this particular information icon, it says that to leverage native AWS services on your SDDC, deploy your EC2 workloads in the same availability zone to avoid cross AZ traffic charges. So what it means that if you want to deploy that cross VPC connectivity, which I just shown you in that diagram, so if you have a VMs, they want to talk to the EC2 workloads, then please make sure that your native workloads and VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC workloads are running within the same availability zone so that we can avoid cross AZ traffic charges. So that's what it's all about it. So let's go and select the subnet. So here we're gonna select US West 2A. So we are not deploying a stretch cluster. It's a multi-host deployment with no stretch cluster configuration. So we're gonna select US West 2A as our availability zone for this particular SDDC deployment. So select that US West 2A, click on the next, and then we have successfully mapped our VPC and subnet. We have successfully defined our VPC and subnet configuration for this SDDC deployment. Now, one of the last important piece of information about configure network, and it's about the management subnet. Now, if you remember, if you're aware about the vSphere infrastructure, we have a management component such as vCenter Server, NSX Manager, ESXi host. Now these infrastructure components, so-called infrastructure components, would require IP addressing. And we call these component as a management appliances, or these components belong to management subnet. That's what this particular section is all about. We need to define the subnet or the CIDR block, which will be used to assign or allocate IP addresses to our vCenter Server, NSX Manager, and ESXi host, and the rest of the management appliances. So if you do see that, it tells us very clearly that specify a private subnet range which will be used for vCenter server, NSX manager and ESXi host. One of the very important thing to note that whatever range we are choosing, it should not be overlapping with your existing network, because in future if we are going to connect our SDDC to on-prem network or maybe some other SDDC, please make sure that this subnet should not overlap with your existing on-prem networks or your maybe some other SDDC which you might have deployed in your infrastructure. So please make sure that you choose the right management subnet as a CIDR block. Now the minimum CIDR size is /23 for 27 host, 251 host, and usually /16 is being used for giving us a capability of 4000 host. We cannot give these CIDRs because these CIDRs are reserved CIDRs. So that's what about the management subnets. So let's go and give a subnet information. So that's our management subnet. We are using it as a default subnet. So we are just using the default subnet as provided right there as a management subnet. So this particular CIDR will be used to allocate IP addresses to our management appliances. Now click on next, and this is the last piece of information. Acknowledge the cost. Now this particular service is asking us for confirmation that this particular, as soon as we go and start deploying the SDDC, there would be charges will be occurring and we have to agree for those charges. So we already aware about that. So yes, please confirm that you are aware of the following before deploying this SDDC. Your charges will begin as soon as you start deploying SDDC. Yes, we know that pricing would be per host consumed for each host. It means that the current pricing is the on-demand pricing where VMware would be charging for this particular service consumption as a per hour per host basis. So click here and click on deploy SDDC. As you could see that our SDDC is successfully deployed. Since it's a simulation based learning platform, so it happens really fast, but in general it usually takes 90 to 120 minutes for a successful deployment of an SDDC. Now let's go and understand about this SDDC portal. So you do see that this is the name of our SDDC, vslab-sddc. Now in which region it has been deployed, it's rightly mentioned here, it's Oregon region where the SDDC has been deployed. Now one of the very important thing about the SDDC status, it shows us status as ready, which means that our SDDC is successfully deployed and it does not have any issues during deployment. So it's pretty good to host our workloads. Now it also gives a very elaborative information about our CPU capacity of 249 gigahertz, memory capacity of 1.5 TB, and storage capacity of 32 terabytes. Now if we want to have a more detailed information about our SDDC, we have a view details button right there. We can also access our vCenter server right there, and there are a bunch of operations we can perform on that SDDC. So which we will be doing it in the later part of lecture series. Now, if you want to get elaborative information about our SDDC, just click on SDDC, and as you could see that it browsed through a detailed overview of our SDDC which we had deployed, and it also gives information other than capacity what we have seen in the dashboard. It also gives information about number of hosts. Since we deployed 3-node cluster, that's the reason it's showing us 3 hosts, and that's the summary tab. If we want to configure networking, that's what the networking and security section, as you could see that right here, that's the networking and security section. That's an add-on option for giving you add-on capabilities such as HCX, SRM, and so on. That's a maintenance support, that's a troubleshooting. We can do a little bit troubleshooting on our SDDC right there from the portal itself, and a couple of other information such as support, where it gives information about our SDDC ID, in which org it has been deployed. So this conclude our lecture on how to deploy our first VMware Cloud on AWS SDDC in AWS Oregon region, where we have gone through the entire multi-step guided workflow where we provided SDDC properties such as SDDC name, the type of deployment, and which region we are deploying it, Then another important thing we connected our SDDC with the AWS account. Then we also defined a VPC and subnet association. And last, we also define management CIDR for assigning IPs to our management appliances such as vSphere, NSX Manager, vCenter Server, and ESXi host. We hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thanks for your time. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.